Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Scare. Welcome back to our virtual world as we continue our career training series here on YouTube. I'm Taylor. I'm the Youth Programs Coordinator here at Scare, and I work directly with youth tutoring as well. So thank you for joining us again for part 4 in our career training series. So we're going to go ahead and kick it off. Today is Momentum 1.4. So if you've made it this far, you've made it through 4 parts of this career training series. And today is going to be focused on meeting the employers. As I mentioned, this is part 4 of our career training series, but don't worry, this is part 4 of 4. We're going to be coming out with a Momentum 2.0 as well, so just look forward to that also in the future. And just a reminder to please fill out the surveys for this training and let us know if there's anything you'd like us to cover in our future trainings. Your feedback means a lot to us, and it really helps us to improve and make sure that we're covering anything that is beneficial for you guys in the training as well. I wanted to start it off with the definition of momentum, because this is going to explain why we chose momentum as the theme for Scare's career training series. Momentum is movement. Momentum is energy. When movement and energy meet, they become your vision. As you visualize your future, your visions become your first steps. First steps become goals that you create that you can realistically achieve because you set your needs. You are the momentum for your focus, your passion, your goals for your family. As you create your momentum, naturally begin to take steps needed to visualize your goals as actions and positive energy for your future. So we really wanted to focus on the theme of momentum, just for the theme of how we build momentum in our daily life and our careers, and how everything kind of starts with just gaining momentum to reach our goals. Okay, that's one of our big focuses for this career training series. So just a reminder that building momentum takes time. We don't just go full force into reaching everything for our goals. It doesn't really work quite that way. It takes time and it takes patience. And one way I kind of like to think about it is comparing it to riding a bike uphill. I'm on a bike and I'm just at the bottom of the hill. I'm thinking, I'm going to start pedaling and get up this hill now. That might not work. It's going to be really difficult, and I'm probably going to give up halfway through and just try to push the bike up the hill instead. If I needed to make it up the hill, if that was my goal, I would have to build the momentum first. Instead of starting off right here on our hill, going all the way, maybe going back a little bit where it's a little bit flatter, where I can start to gain the speed and gain the momentum. And if I'm gaining that speed riding the bike, it's going to be a little easier for me to get up that hill. And then the more I ride my bike, easier it's going to be for me to make it up the hill with maybe less breaks or less pauses in between, right? So just like in our goal setting and our daily life, we have to kind of start off slowly, build up the momentum just to be able to gain that speed, that energy, and that strength to make it up whatever obstacles and difficult things we may encounter. Once we have that speed and strength, it becomes easier and easier. So just a review of kind of what we've been over since this is part 4 of our series. We started this off in December of 2021. And our first one focused on visualizing your future, setting boundaries, and goal setting. And then part 2 was released in March of this year and focused on career exploration. Part 3 was released in June and focused on healthy communication. And we have finally made it to part 4 here in September 2022 to meet the employers. So just to review some of the main points for our previous trainings. If you haven't watched them, I would highly recommend going back and watching them since they're all on YouTube. And if you did watch them already, hopefully this will be like a nice little review and a reminder of some of the things that we went over. So in Momentum 1.1, our main topic was visualizing your future. So that training started off talking about finding support, and as we start to reach these goals and start to work towards goals. So finding support in your family, friends, through places like TANF and SCARE, and just building that support around you so that if anything comes up, you're still supported to move through it. Part 1 also talked about motivation and finding your motivation for your goals. Instead of just creating goals on its own, understanding why you want to have those goals in the first place. And then once you have that understanding of why you want to create goals, you can work towards actually setting the goals and setting all the different steps for it. So instead of trying to choose one large goal at once, finding ways to break it down into smaller goals and set those goals. So that way, piece by piece, it's getting you closer to reaching your overall big idea type goal. Part 1 also talked a little bit about returning to the workforce, ways to prepare for that, and also just taking the first step to reach your goals. Like I said, momentum isn't built automatically. It takes that first step, that little bit of force, just to get the ball rolling, and then you'll reach that momentum, you'll start gaining momentum, and hopefully reach your goals too. All right, so now on to part 2. So in Momentum 1.2, really was diving into career exploration. So it went over topics like narrowing down career pathways. So maybe just some ideas that you have of things that work for you. Because even if things sound great in theory, it's just knowing your strengths, knowing what you're okay with, things that you're interested in, and finding out what pathways might work better for you. It also talked about finding your soft skills. So a lot of the times we hear about the hard skills, like we know how to use Microsoft and Word, all of these things, and that is great. That was wonderful. It definitely helps with careers, but also just knowing what soft skills you have that can't necessarily be taught. Maybe you're really good with people, you're really patient, you have a bubbly personality, and you have a way of, maybe you're good with working with kids, but those things can't always be learned. Part 2 also talked about digital footprints, especially in this age of social media and the internet, and understanding the impact that can actually have during the career search. So understanding that whatever you're putting on the internet, the ways that can impact you, the ways that's kind of out there for the world to see also, and just keeping that in mind in the job search and career exploration realm. We also talked a little bit about financial aid for students and just understanding some different options for actually moving forward. Understanding the financial part of it and different options that are out there is really helpful and can make just going back to school so much less intimidating, just knowing what options are out there. And then lastly, for part 1.2, we did talk about networking, just the importance of building relationships with the people around you, ways that can help you improve, and then also the ways that can help you find some other options out there. Hear from a person, a friend of a friend, and have some new opportunities come up that maybe you wouldn't have had before. On to part 3. The most recent one we had was Momentum 1.3, and we focused on healthy communication. And that sounds like a really broad category, and there were just so many different wonderful topics that we went over in that one. So we started off with conflict resolution. So understanding how to deal with conflict, any situations that maybe there's some tension, and using communication as a way to work through it in a healthy way. And understanding that process, not just reacting immediately, but instead working towards a solution. We also went over things like active listening, just to be really engaging with the people that you're talking to, making sure that they feel like they're being heard. You're actually listening to what they're saying instead of listening to respond. We also covered I statements, so understanding, instead of going straight into any assumptions, maybe starting with what you're feeling, how you're thinking, instead of putting the entire situation onto someone else. So instead of saying something like, you did this, and say, oh, I feel like because of this situation, I feel betrayed, instead of pointing all of the attention on someone else. It also covered cultivating a healthy relationship with anger, ways to manage that and understand the underlying emotions that can come with anger, just to help us kind of respond instead of reacting in difficult situations. In healthy communication, we also talked about communication in the workplace. So with maybe the people that you're communicating with, maybe clients, it could be coworkers, it could be bosses, and just also the different styles of communication, the different types. Because nowadays we have everything from verbal, so when we're actually like physically talking to each other. There's also communication in nonverbal. So if I'm maybe not looking at you, not making eye contact, the ways that can actually be playing a role into our communication styles as well. And then that kind of ties into visual communication. So what you're seeing as you're talking to someone, and then also written communication, social media, emails, texts, and just understanding the proper, professional ways to communicate with people and understanding like everything that goes into that, making sure that things are clear, making sure that things are not taken the wrong way, and so all the different communication types. And then it also touched again on digital footprints and went a little more in depth into exactly what digital footprints are and exactly how it can affect everything, how people have access to it. So even if we put something on the internet and it's deleted, for example, it was still out there at some point and it can still be out there. Nothing is really deleted forever that someone can see. So understanding the impact of digital footprints. And then today we have made it to Momentum 1.4, and we'll be focusing on meeting the employers. So you'll find out what we're going to do today. Today we're going to be hearing directly from employers that work in all sorts of different fields. And all of these employers are, they're the people who are in charge of the hiring process, hired people in their department, and kind of getting some insight just from their point of view. So we can learn what employers look for in potential employees and hear about some things that stand out to them during the hiring process, whether it be resumes, interview, types of skills, just things that they thought about throughout the hiring process. You're going to be hearing a lot of the details as they answer this main question: what was it about the last person you hired that convinced you to offer them the job? So that big question is what all of our employers are going to be answering and help us get an idea of the hiring process and we'll get a sneak peek into what's going on in their minds also. Thank you again for joining us for Momentum 1.0, the career training series. And like I said, we'll be back for Momentum 2.0. And just another reminder to please fill out any of the surveys and evaluations for the training and let us know all of your feedback and anything you'd like us to cover in the future. I hope you enjoyed today's training. Thank you.
Hello, Ms. Jamira.
Hello.
Please tell us where you're coming in from.
From Children of the Rainbow. I'm the site supervisor.
Okay, and then the question of the day is, well, actually, how long have you been a site supervisor?
I lost count. I think about maybe 5 years, 6 years.
So the question that we have for you is, what was it about the last person you hired that influenced your decision to hire them?
Okay, the last person that I interviewed and then I hired was because the individual showed confidence. She showed knowledge and ability to perform a teacher's task. It sounded, well, at the time when I was interviewed, that she would always take initiative to encourage her coworkers or staff members to implement new teaching strategies in the classroom environment, and also just her enthusiasm also she talks about her experience working in other childcare centers. Also took a big part of it. I also took her accountability, her honesty as I interviewed her open mindfulness, her posture at the time of interviewing was very positive, eye contact. My thing that when I interview, I really do not want to hear a person say, this person nailed it. And she was just very excited to begin a new journey here with us, because that individual was actually a court supervisor. So basically she supervised parents who were under the court when they had their child visitations. So she wanted something different. She wanted to learn more about the growth of children as she is taking child development classes. So she wants to gain that experience outside that field, as she still continues to take child development classes to grow and get her teacher's credential. So with that said, I decided to interview her a second time along with my other site supervisor to get input from her as well. And I believe we were both on the same page where we liked her and we wanted to give her the opportunity to grow and get that experience, because I know I was there once too, where I just opened the door and went into the facility and say, hey, are you hiring? I'm looking for a job now because I want to get experience in child development. And I related to that. And then, that was my final thought to when, after interviewing the individual, since that point, I've realized that it's important to give other people opportunity to grow and gain that experience if they're interested in the child development field, because we do need more staff and teachers who are continuing their education and are willing to go outside their comfort zone and try something new and make a difference in a child's and family's life. And that's what matters, and that's what I look for when interviewing individuals for a childcare center.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. What was it about the last candidate you interviewed made you want to hire them?
What made me want to hire the last candidate in general is her educational experience that she had in the field of child development, the years of service and interaction that she may have had with the different companies that she had been employed for, such as if they've been with a nonprofit, state-funded, privately owned, or ran their own childcare center, that they had some kind of influence with the various age groups and the amount of age groups that they may have worked with in the different fields, along with the education they may have experienced with the different, for example, infant and toddlers versus preschool.
Thank you, Marissa.
So, I'm here with Aaron Gumbala, who has handyman service?
Yeah, handyman service focused on electrical needs.
Okay, and then, so what was it about the last person you hired that got them the job?
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna say what I look for in someone who wants to do this kind of work is the ability to be coachable. They have to be open-minded. They can't be stuck in their ways. Willingness to do work or put in effort, willingness to learn, and basically the ability to self-reflect as well, because that plays an important role as far as like learning new aspects as far as electrical goes. You kind of have to like internalize things a little bit in order to see the bigger outcome. Why either your boss or foreman wants things done a certain way.
But when you're interviewing someone to do that work, like, what do you look for in a, like, what are your main questions and what do you look for, like, at the interview portion?
Punctuality is a big one. I guess the ability to think outside the box regarding certain aspects of the job, I guess. What else?
Well, I would think you would have to think outside the box if you're doing like electrical work or handyman jobs, because not all jobs are the same. So you kind of have to think fast.
It's not even about thinking thoroughly, because there's a lot of obstacles when it comes to doing existing work or existing aspects of a electrical system that you have to kind of think of all the avenues, troubleshoot everything, and make sure that the path which you take is going to be the easiest. Usually not as far as easiest, but things have to look clean as well, and they have to be up to standard, safety standards. So that's a big one.
Attention to detail.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Luke Manchanka. I'm the Acting Dean of Outreach and Student Affairs at the San Diego Community College District, which is comprised of 4 colleges in San Diego City College, San Diego Mesa College, San Diego Miramar College, and the College of Continuing Education. We are a California community college that serves the San Diego area. We have opportunities all the way through non-credit options, high school diplomas, high school equivalencies, all the way through non-credit certificates, career certificates, short-term certificates, all the way through associate's degrees at our 4 credit colleges, which is City, Mesa, Miramar. We have direct to career pathway, associate degree and certificates, even transfer options, which lead to students obtaining a bachelor's degree and transferring and finishing at schools like at San Diego State, UC San Diego, but we also have a bachelor's degree located at Mesa College as well. So we're a full service student support and educational system and support team that really aims to help our students here in this area. Me specifically, as the Dean of Outreach and Student Affairs, I work directly with our outreach teams here in the community, so going out into the community, supporting individuals, informing them about who we are, how we can support them, and what we can do to develop them in their growth and professional aspirations. Not only do I work in outreach, but I also oversee the San Diego Promise program, which provides up to 2 years of free tuition for students who are looking to come to one of our institutions. And again, that's open to lots of different individuals. And then lastly, I also work on our student affairs side, which I really work with our student trustees. And our trustees are our associated student government presidents who are at one of our 4 campuses. And they really support the student body and being the voice of the students. And they actually are able to come with us here at the district through our United Student Council meeting, and we actually support them in achieving their goals. They also have a place on our board with our chancellor, board president, and trustees. So it's a fantastic position that I have. I work real directly with our campuses, our students in the community, as well as community organizations. So it's a fantastic position. Now let's dive in. I recently hired someone around 6 months ago in a position that was vacant before. We had a person in the position for around 3 years, and then I came into this position, and then we needed to hire somebody. So when we went out, we were looking for someone that was eager, that wanted to dive in. Now, what was I looking for in this position? Well, I wanted to find someone who had some insight in our student management system. system and data system. That was really important to me. And the reason that was important, because this was an internal job search. So it was only open to people inside of our system. We weren't able to hire outside. New jobs would be posted outside, but initially, just because this was a temporary position I was hiring for, that we only opened it to in-person folks immediately. But I was looking for someone that had some history, with our data management system. Obviously through this job, we really focused on, processing students and for our Promise program. So we had a checklist of items that they had to complete. So our staff had to know, where to find these items, how to look for certain things, but also have some, troubleshooting, some creativity to work through all these different data sets to make sure that they're gathering the information they need so we can adequately make a decision on, can we support this student or can we not through the scholarship program, because we had some specific things that we had to do for them. Now, in regards to this position also, there was a huge aspect in outreach, and so outreach is the idea that we're working with folks outside of our campus, developing new partnerships, meeting people in our community, whether that be at like a resource fair or a big event for the community, or going and working with different community organizations and sharing about who we are. Our goal is to go out and to reach people, and this wasn't something that I mandated in regards to you had to have done outreach before coming to, because I feel confident about who I am and how I can train people. So what I was willing, what I was really looking for was someone just that was approachable. When I met them, when I went in the interview, I felt like they were approachable, like I could have a conversation with them, because that's a lot what outreach is. I also wanted to make sure that they were patient. They had some energy when they were speaking, so they kept my attention, and then also they listened. I want to make sure that they when I provided or asked questions to them, that they were able to listen to the things I was saying and answer the question fully. That was really, really important to me. Now, the other things that obviously that I was looking for is, we wanted to make sure that, they were organized. One of the things that really stuck out about this last person is that they were organized. They had specific things that they brought to the table. They had their resume, they had their notes. I could tell that they wrote notes before coming in here. They were prepared. They knew what the position was. They read the description. They did some research on me. They knew who I was. They knew what my goals were. They looked at our website. I could tell they had marketing for us in their folder. So they did a fair amount of research about who I was. So they knew when I was speaking about a program, they were able to really let me know that, oh yeah, I did my research. I know what that is. So they did their research. They knew what was happening. And then when I asked for specific examples through the interview process, they were able to say what they did, how they did it, why they did it, and then how they can improve it. And that's something that was really, really impressive to me. I think anytime as a supervisor or manager, we're looking for people that want to be able to put some time in, and within the work hours, obviously, but that are passionate, that are aware of the deadlines and different things like that. Like for me, I'm not a micromanager. I really enjoy my folks to just, go out, do their thing, handle their business, and then come back and say, hey, I'm done. We're all good. That's ideal for me. I don't want to have to go, hey, what's up with this or what's up with that. I want to make sure that they feel empowered to make their decisions and to have ownership over it. Because my hope is that we bring on people that want to move up, that want to advance themselves and obtain higher jobs. Like that's my goal for the people I work with. I want them to have personal, professional, and financial success, and that's important for me to help them. And the only way you can do that is by having a willing attitude. So that was really, really important to me, what I was looking for. Now, I guess other than that, I would just say this person that I hired, it just when I met them was very positive. They were patient. Their tone of their language, I feel like they're very conscientious of it. They acknowledged me not only verbally of what I was saying, but like also the nonverbals. Like if I was speaking about something and my passion came through, they're saying yes, or nodding their head, or just agreeing, showing agreement, or just mouthing a word saying yes, I agree. Oh, interesting. So really acknowledging and being present in the conversation through that interview process was really, really important to me. and just really show that the person was, one, interested, two, that they were listening, and three, that they're passionate about what we're doing. And I felt like they really wanted to be here and really have this opportunity to grow. And even the things that they didn't have a lot of insight about, or I could tell that they didn't have a lot of history or anything like that, they were saying like, I want to learn. This is something I want to grow in. I think I would love for you to help me to grow in this way, because I want to do this and this. So that made me excited, because a willing attitude to want to learn is something that really excites me, because then I have folks that want to be here that are excited about, you know, what they're doing. I would love to give a little bit of advice just to anyone beginning the process or going through interviews or looking for jobs. The basics: be on time. On time is it right when your interview starts. I would say like 10 to 15 minutes. You know, arrive at least a half hour early to your interview. Catch your breath. Just like you, I'm sure I get nervous before interviews, so I like to sit down. I have my water there, catch my breath. You know, get comfortable. You know, if you have notes, print out your notes and read them a little bit, but take a break, you know, close your eyes for a quick second, park in the shade, allow yourself to just bring your just stress levels and blood pressure down to just where you feel okay about it. Be prepared, know who the company is, the organization is, do your research, spend some time looking at their websites. If their organization or business is open to the public, stop by and visit so you can experience and you can really speak to those things that you experience in the organization. I would say, other than that, make sure that you really know like the basics of the business too, like hours of operation, what are some of the core services or elements that they do as an organization. And really, that's going to be important when going through this process. And lastly, be prepared to introduce yourself. I think a lot of times we assume, oh, they have my resume, they know who I am, what I've done, where I've been, what I've completed. But sometimes in the interviews, you really need to restate those things and really communicate it in a way. So be prepared to really discuss what you've done, where you've done it, how you've done it, and just really where you see yourself going and why and how this company or organization fits into your trajectory, your path as a professional, and why you want to be there. And then lastly, I would say, is have some questions. Have some questions for them. So what are some important traits that you're looking for in this professional? In 1 year, what would you do? What would make this person in this position successful? So just have some questions about the organization. People always ask like, what's the timeline? That's a good question, but have some questions. Best of luck, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.